Hey everyone. Welcome to Chic Mornings. I am your host and Chief Chic Officer, Mrs. Shakena Robinson. I'm so happy that you are here to join me. Let's get right to it. Today's episode, I want to talk about one of my dating experiences. I've had a couple, but I specifically want to talk about one today. In this particular situation, I really could have lost my life. And I genuinely thought that I was going on a date with a nice guy, and no. So I met a gentleman in Appleton, Wisconsin. You know, he was shooting the game, and I didn't mind what he was talking about. I had all types of suitors all day coming from all directions. And I was a professional turner-downer. I'm the girl to grab her cart and just say, thanks, that's so sweet, and keep on going about her business. But I was still single, right? So I think I've always been open to the possibility of like meeting a great person. So in this particular instance, I was down, after talking for a few minutes. So the gentleman explains that he was an entrepreneur and he had a pest control business that he was working on expanding, and boom, 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 boom. So naturally, when he asked me out on a date, I honestly didn't think that there would be any trouble, that I had anything to worry about. Thought it would just, be a date. But no, honestly, that's not at all. I let this man take me out on a date, and it was a drug deal. He took me on a drug deal. I had no idea he was a drug dealer, because I never was on that. I really never was on that. I dated one dope boy, and that was I think I was 19. And even at 19, I knew that I didn't want that for my life, right? Like, this particular person, he was a great person. He really was a great person. But I knew that I didn't want that for myself. And so I didn't make that a perpetual habit. So if I would have known that this guy who asked me out on a date, if I would have known he was a dope boy, I would have sweetly grabbed my little heart and said, no, thank you, and kept going about my business. But I didn't know that. So I found myself in a situation where this man drove for really over an hour to get to a drop destination. He had drugs in his car. When he came to pick me up, trunk full of drugs, right? We get to this house, pops the trunk, delivers the product. There's a family member that is even tagging along with us, is there for the entire ride. And after they dropped off the drugs at some house, his cousin gets back in the car, and he's talking about how bad he really wants to smoke, and how he really needs some weed, but he don't got no money for it right now. But he knows a spot where he could probably run up in it and rob them. And I'm like, again, I just met the guy who's supposed to be taking me out on a date, and I'm like, I couldn't believe that he was taking me to sell drugs, and he did not know anything about me. It was crazy, and I couldn't believe I was in that situation, man. And so this guy is talking about wanting to go into this house if the situation is right and rob him. And the passenger, my date, is okay with it. So okay with it that he drives to the location that the guy is talking about. It might be a cool situation to go rob. So I'm very quiet. I'm just sitting in the passenger seat, quiet, very angry, appalled, a lot of things going on, but I'm not saying anything. We get to this house. We get to the house that the gentleman, felt comfortable about being able to go rob. And we pull into the house. We pull in front of the house. The guy who's driving puts the car in park, turns the car off, and I was just through, okay? I'm like, dang, y'all got me out here committing crimes, and you're dumb. You're gonna get us all killed, right? I've never robbed anyone before. I would never rob anyone. That's not my life. That's not a life that I want to use, that I want to live, that I choose for myself, for my family, or for any man that is mine. Okay? But if I gotta be in the car while some BS is going on, like at least have some type of sense to be doing what you're doing. But you just let this man out of your car to go see if he could rob somebody, and you just turned your car off. Like you're not the getaway driver. So I'm sitting there and like I was so nervous. Like my stomach was in knots. I was praying. I was texting my mom. I was texting my mom throughout the entire date, so my mom knew like where I was. And you know, I tell her like, okay, this is what street I see, you know, whatever. So I remember just being afraid. I remember sitting in front of this house and being very, very afraid. And shortly after the guy went into the house to see if it was the type of situation that he could rob it, he quickly came out that house. And some big old dude that looked like Debo walked out of that house behind him so quick. And he walked up on the car like he was about to, okay? And I was so afraid. And I knew that the dummies that I was in the car would completely deserve that. Like, you don't try to go up in somebody's house and try to rob them. But the problem is like, I just thought I was going out on a date. And I didn't know that I was going out on a date with a robber and a drug dealer. Or I would have never agreed to do that. Now, if anybody is listening to this and you're a robber or a drug dealer, God loves you, okay? God loves you. And God loves you. For my personal life, those are not things that I have ever really wanted to be a part of. You know, it's dangerous. It's dangerous. So for me to be in this vehicle with these mentally challenged criminals, I couldn't believe it. When the guy came walking up quick to the car, I could tell it's like he didn't have them all. It's like I seen a man, I seen that he had eyes, but it's like I didn't see nothing behind his eyes. It was like this gloss. It's like this something. I'm not sure. But I know that it was the favor of God that even had that man look over at me in the passenger seat, and our eyes met. I know I had to have looked terrified. I didn't want anything to do with what they had going on, but at the same time, I know I'm in this man's car. I'm in your car, so if somebody starts shooting up the car, then pretty much it's like we're all going to get shot, right? Unless the grace of God is just going to be shielding me, and I know that is completely possible. But I was completely terrified when the guy whose house it was seen me. His whole something changed. It's like something in his spirit changed, and he went back in the house. He just went back in the house. And I know that was just the grace of God, because that man came out in the house to kill him. He came out in the house, but he wanted to see who this little dude was with, okay? If he would have been trying to get in a car by himself, he would have died by himself, right? There was somebody else driving a car, both of them lit, because the guy was too close for him. If he would have shot in the car, it's over. It's over for everybody in it. But God completely spared me from that situation, completely spared me from even dealing with that trauma of that situation. And I'm so thankful to him. And it really caused me to take a step back, because it's dangerous out here. And so I wanted to share this story with you, because I just want to remind you to be careful out there. And everything that sounds good is not good. So make sure that you have your emergency contingency plans when you're dating. Have your friends on deck. Make sure that you are taking as many precautionary actions as you can, because we know it's easy to sound like you're better than what you are when you first meet someone. It's not until after some time that you really start to find out the core of a person. But there are also psychopathic maniacs that are dangerous, that just don't originally seem so. So I wanted to take this time to remind you to don't go off your feelings. Just because you feel comfortable with a person doesn't mean that you're safe with that person. Just because a person seems like they have your best interest at heart. Doesn't mean that that person has your best interest at heart. In fact, that's the best person for somebody to use to start to set you up. So be mindful. This has been another Chic morning. Thank you for joining me. Don't forget, you can catch me right here every morning at 8 a.m. And you can always make song requests on our Facebook page. Our Facebook page is RP Entertainment. That's the first word. Second word, radio. You can also tweet a song request at RPEntRadio. And there are a list of on-air personalities that are a part of RP Entertainment. So you can take a listen to Miss Shawn, and she's got her Real Talk segment at 12 p.m. Central. You can also listen to All Day, and he's got his Starting a Conversation segment going on every day at 6 p.m. Central. On Wednesdays, it's at 7 p.m. Central. We also have DJ Shablast with his DJ Mix, and that plays every Wednesday at 7 p.m. We have DJ Yo Daddy, and we have him with his Lit Mix, and that's every Friday at 10 p.m. Central. You are sure to find something that you like. Don't forget to come back here every morning so that we can continue to get into it. Later.